As the thumbnail says, this could be a lot better, and by this I mean the original drawing. I'm hoping to reimagine this in a 3D scape to hopefully improve it. Well, that's the plan at least. I'm going to be using my minimal word ed experience and trying to learn Axiom, which to be honest, I'm not very good at using, so we're going to see how that goes. Anyway, let's get it. Right, so I'm starting off by building the island. And as you can see, using a bunch of spheres because I don't know how to properly use Axiom. There's probably like an easier way to do this, but this is all I know how to use because I'm learning the basics. Okay, give you a break. As you can see, I'm making the rough shape. Now, you might be thinking if you're a professional builder, unlike myself, uh, that this looks a little bit small in scale for an island, and you would be right. Now, this will come into play later and will be a problem, but the main reason I made it this small was to make the dragon actually manageable because I've never built organics before, right? The only organics I've ever built are like trees, okay? And trees aren't really like dragons, and didn't even build good trees. They're like mediocre trees at best. Anyway, back to the build, I guess. I'm smoothing it all out now, as you can see, and it's doing a decent job. And now I add grass. Grass is pretty important because it wouldn't really, it'd just be a big floating rock rather than an island. Now on the grass, I have these little dangly bits of grass that sort of hang off the edge, so I need to add those too. And boom, we're in Flashback, doing a really epic, sick cinematic, putting grass down. I mean, what else would you want to do today other than looking up grass being placed? It's like a top 10 hobby. Anyway, here we are back on Axiom, adding the gradient thing, using that tool that I learned in like 5 seconds, so I didn't really do a great job. And then here we go back to world edit, and with world edit, I'm adding all my regular gradients that I'd normally do. So I'm adding like a bit of tough and a bit of andesite into the upper, more brighter layers. Then I'm sort of gradually transitioning to like deep slate and black stone at the bottom. Classic stuff. And now we're really slowly zooming into what is going to be my mountains. You see that? Wow. Now, was that not cool? I'm just really happy with using Flashback. I've never used it before. So please someone comment in the section. Oh God. Please someone comment nice Flashback usage or something. It'd be greatly appreciated. Anyway, now you see I'm forging my mountains through, guess what, against spheres again. Classic. As you can see, my mountains are all pointy, as in the original picture. Really wanted to bring forward that look. Now, I'm sort of rearranging how I did the mountains in the original one, just because, guess what? Coming back to bite scale. Yeah, that's right. With scale, I can only build like certain types of mountains. They're all going to be very similar style of the drawing, all pointy, all jagged, all really cool because mountains are cool. Can't prove otherwise. Now, anyway, I can see I'm building sort of a skeletal structure and sort of splitting it up into smaller sections to make it more manageable. I don't know if that's a good strategy when it comes to building these things, but I don't know. And to be honest, I don't care. It works, and it works is all I need to know. Wow. I was slow at building this because like this is on time lapsed, right? Like this probably like I was actually really slow at building these mountains because another thing I don't build is mountains. Heads up, really the only things I built were like structures and like uh some other really just structures. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really build mountains. Sort of used naturally generated Minecraft mountains or transitioned Minecraft mountains, but now I'm building my own mountains. So take that, natural generation. To be honest, the natural generation probably still did a better job than I can. Some of the natural generation does look pretty crazy and does go extremely hard. Um, anyway, almost finished up with all these mountains. We've got like one left. Now, I changed the size of this mountain to a small one just because I think composition-wise it would look better. Now, finishing up the back here of this one, and then I get on to making the gradients for the mountains. Now, as you can see here, They're pretty basic gradients. I'm going to do most of it by hand because that's how I roll, really, to be honest. I find it easier just blocking out the base gradient with World Edit and then going back in and making some adjustments where I need to. As you can see, I'm doing that right now already, despite I've only just started doing the World Edit. So that's how I work. I don't do things organized and in order. I do things, then I go back to other things, and then I go do a different thing because I'm unstructured and plan absolutely nothing. As you can tell by this script, because there is no script, there's more like suggestions rather than a script. Things I should probably say, things I shouldn't say. I'm not even looking at my script. I don't even know what I say and what even is in it. I'm gonna check that right now. Hmm, very interesting. Yeah, okay, no, this is just very rough of a script. Only have like a small portion of what I actually do and say in it. So cool. Now here I start building all the snow up, and I start with diorite, realize it looks sort of utterly awful, replace it with quartz. Much prefer that because it looks smoother. And then I also add in some mossy cobble just because I think it'll vary up the texture quite nicely. It blends sort of stone with tuff quite nice. Now we go back in with some more snow. Well, it's not snow quartz, you know what I mean. You get the point. Right, so I'm going in with that, adding it to each of the ones, even the small mountains, except for like the one on the right, just because it didn't work at all, regardless of what I did. So that's okay, yes. And keep adding all the bits, check it a few times, make sure it looks good. Going back in every so often to change a few things, edit the texture on the bottom, add in a bit more stuff to the mountain. Because of course I go back to the mountain, and now we're building trees. Now here's where the main problem of scale happens. I can't make these trees look good because of the scale. I can't make them very tall, otherwise they make the mountains look small. So I keep going through trees. Now this is a decent-ish tree. Now my trees are much better than this usually, but I don't have much of a choice. I tried this. I liked it. I didn't like adding that ring, but then I realized I'm just going to make mini trees. So I just add mini trees everywhere. It's the worst. I mean, look at them. Like I tried to add a bit of movement to the trees by changing their shape, but to be honest, you can't notice it. They just kind of look ugly. I apologize for like the biggest abomination of trees you've probably ever seen in your life. I will try to do better some other time. Right now I'm building more trees. Yeah, the transition wasn't good there either. This is where it all sort of sucked. So, you've got to bear with that. And I want to redeem myself, so I sort of wanted to build a bigger tree at the back. I know this one sort of be blown by the wind, so I made it sort of do that. So it looks like it was being really pushed by some wind. I think it works quite well. It's still not my best tree, but I quite like that. And then just as a joke over here, I built like the smallest tree of all time. Anyway, now we get on to building the dragon finally. So I'm starting off with a really basic outline, which this was from my perspective. So I had to fly out so many different times because for some reason I didn't put free cam on my mod pack, so I can just look out easily. Anyway, now we're building the head. Please don't judge this. I have never really built. I've built like one dragon-like animal head. It was more like I don't know. So I'm not very skilled, so I'm just sort of going with what I feel like works. I think the teeth, like using the fence gate, was a pretty good idea, and using some direct walls worked pretty well. And I liked the copper bulb for the eyes. I think that looked great, along with the whatever the bamboo trapdoor. And then go around here with more spheres because I mean, what did you expect? Now I'm gonna go smooth everything out. And it's going to take a while. Also, I didn't know this, but if you look at the screen and you see like the color changing, prismarine color changes. I didn't know this, but it like has like it's like how fire is animated. Well, so is prismarine. It changes color from like a really more blue one to a more green one, and it cycles back. I might just be stupid and everyone knows this. That's probably the better answer and more accurate answer, but I think that's pretty interesting to know. Now, as you can see, I'm really trying to shape it out. I'm adding in all of this stuff, which is whatever it is. I can't be asked to attempt to say these copper names. It's like waxed copper something, wax, I don't know. Whatever the green one is. I'm using the green one. That's 2 green ones, so that's not really useful. As you can see, I used Perlusin, whatever these things are, I'm not quite sure. I'm not good with names, okay, people? Just bear with it, bear with it. So what is create the spiral pattern? This was not on the original thing. It didn't do that. It didn't spiral around. Another thing, it didn't ever have color. It was always just like on a white piece of paper. So I decided green because I think that looked pretty good. Anyway, super cut time. Anyway, back to the regular building. The arms didn't look like this originally. They're much more boxy, but I think this fit the vibe much better, and I wanted a more slinky like dragon rather than I sort of made a more robust one on the original design for some reason. Didn't look very good, but you know, whatever. It worked at the time, so I liked it. Anyway, putting all these lightning bolts around just to sort of test how they would work, 'cause those were on the original drawing. I was using glass panes for that. I don't know what else you expect. Now to speed this up, I was going to make a bunch of sort of preset ones, and which I would just sort of copy and paste everywhere. So I think that would work quite well. Not was it? I think the end result was pretty good. I do think maybe some of them should have been a lot bigger in the end. You'll see that once I've placed them all down and copy and pasted them. And if you're wondering, yeah, there's going to be another supercut. This supercut's not really going to have any noise, so I can probably still talk through that because copy and pasting doesn't have any sound unless you want to hear my keyboard, but I'd highly doubt that. So I've just cut that keyboard audio out. Plus, I don't actually have it because I record on 2 separate tracks. So you're stuck with my stupid commentary. And anyway, now we're getting into the copy and pasting. Oh, yeah, there we go. Pasting them absolutely everywhere. Oh wow. Yep. Very interesting. Copy and paste. I mean, isn't that just what everyone does anyway? Oh, copy, copy, paste, paste, paste. Sick. Really adding to the atmosphere of copying pasting. Anyway, that's all of that done. And instead, we're going to get breaking some glass. I mean, I don't know what you thought it's going to do. Got to get rid of it somehow. Yep, going to edit some of them so it doesn't look all the exact same because we want it to look the exact same. Not everything should be the same. Anyway, now I'm going to switch to my live POV of when I'm first seeing this thing with shaders on. So let's get it. All right, got the shaders on. Take a look. Just take a look. Take a look. Take a look. Yes, this is first time seeing it. First time seeing it like this. Let's get it. Yes. Perfect. 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 It's just like what I wanted. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Considering maybe adding some extra particles there. Maybe at a later date, but I don't really, not too sure on what to do with that and how to do that. And make it look good, so I'll probably have to maybe I'll come back to this at some point, fix it up a bit on having some particles there from this big lifted up thing. But for now, that is the video over. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. The dragon still looks a bit odd, but it's honestly better than the drawing. Like the drawing didn't look great on the dragon. Still not about the scale with these stupid trees being too weird looking. But, to make the dragon manageable, I had to sacrifice something, and that was the trees. Hi, it's Future Me again, and I'd just like to say thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far, because I presume if you made it this far, you enjoyed it. Well, I hope so, and you didn't just torture yourself to do this. And I will catch you in the next one.